Happy New Year, Sagittarius. Welcome to your January 2022 astrological forecast. The big news for you is Mars is still in your sign. Okay, Mars usually only visits each sign about every other year because it takes about 2 months or so, whatever, to get through each zodiac sign. So it only hits like maybe 6 signs in 1 year. So the last time Mars was in your sign, I'm sure you got whatever done, something done, more or less. That's what Mars does. It's very energetic, a little bit aggressive if need be, okay? But what you should actually do is use Mars for making changes. Anything that isn't working the way you want it to work, the way you would like things to be. Okay, that's what Mars is for. Okay, so it's in your sign up until the 23rd. So you're still like, pretty enthusiastic about whatever it is that you're pursuing right now. You have a lot of planets in your second house right now in Capricorn. Okay, the planet Venus is still there. Okay, it's in retrograde motion, but it turns direct on, let's see here, the 25th. Okay, and the sun is still in Capricorn up until the 19th. There's a new moon in Capricorn on the 2nd. Let's see here. Mars moves from your sign, okay, into Capricorn on the 24th. And Mercury starts off the month in Aquarius but turns retrograde. Okay, like on the 2nd, Mercury's in Aquarius, turns retrograde on the 14th, and declines in degrees to the point where it falls back into Capricorn again, okay, on the 25th. So you're still going to have like all these, all this stuff happening in your second house of earned income, money, okay, money, possessions, things that you own that are valuable, or your values, though, too, your personal values and even your self-worth. It's also the house of hidden talents. Okay, so this house in your chart has been transited like massively for how long now, right? All kinds of planets zipping through here, but the planet Pluto has been here the longest so far anyway, and it's still there. So it's still changing the way you earn a living, the way you earn money. Even if it's something that you do on the side, you could still have like your normal everyday livelihood and then something that you would possibly do on the side, right? So having Venus here, though, and it's just coming off your birthday and holidays, stuff like that, you could still receive a belated birthday / holiday Christmas gift or whatever. Or you could actually have the means of the money. You're due. I mean, you're really due for like a windfall of some kind or other. Okay, I would have to say. Just because of other things that are going on right now, okay? And the fact that you have transits that are occurring like in your second house that are there for a while, okay? A little bit there longer. They're not so fleeting. So a new moon here on the 2nd, okay, new moons bring new beginnings. So at that time you could be offered like a new position, a new job, a new client, could approach you. Whatever it is that you do for a living, you have to remember that you have the planet Uranus in your 6th house of the kind of work that you do, and Pluto in your 2nd house, right, of earned income, changing the way you earn money, okay? And the planet Uranus is changing the kind of work that you do, usually associated with like high-tech, technical anything, electronics, software, whatever, but unusual art, the planet Uranus is the unusual part of it, And the art part is due to the fact that it's in Taurus right now, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. Okay, so this is Venus-related things. I mentioned this, I believe it was last month, about using your voice. You're possibly using your voice as a singer or a voiceover or something or other as far as your work goes. Okay, even if you have a YouTube channel, right? And you just sit here and you talk and you discuss, or podcast even, you know, maybe you're hosting a show. But something like that, I think, is really like in the works right now, especially with Mars still being in your sign, in your first house. It's making you like be a real go-getter. You're using Mars to the best of its and yours ability, okay, which is to you know, get a lot of stuff done physically. Physically, it's a very physical planet, so it should energize you, and it makes you look after your own best interest. You do what's best for you. You do what's best for other people without stepping on their toes, but this is the time that you make corrections when you come first. Like I said, if things aren't going the way you would like them to, this is the time to change everything, okay? So anyways, that new moon could bring maybe a little bit of a windfall of some kind. Could be a little bit, a lot, who knows, okay? There's a full moon, okay, in Cancer on the 17th in your 8th house. It's directly across from your 2nd house. These are the money houses, okay? So at this time, you know, if there was anything that was due you, like money that was owed to you, because the 8th house is passive money, but it's money coming from legacies, inheritances, legal settlements, insurance payouts, refunds of some kind, like a tax refund. This is the house of financial institutions like banks and credit card companies, and the IRS. This is taxes, okay? So something's possibly going on there, you know, at this time. Maybe you are supposed to be on the receiving end of something, okay? Money that is coming to you. Either you earned it or you won it, or it was left to you in some kind of like legacy. And if you're not holding it in your hands, okay, by the time the 17th rolls around and that full moon is there, there should be some kind of movement in that area, okay? Something should happen that shakes somebody up or lights a fire under somebody's ass, right? To get moving, you want your money, right? So anyway, so the month starting off with Mercury, okay, Mercury in Aquarius on the 2nd, right? Where you have Aquarius in your chart is your 3rd house. The planet Saturn is still here, okay? Jupiter was just here, but moved into Pisces, okay, on December 28th. So right now in your 3rd house, you have Saturn and Mercury, which will be going retrograde on the 14th, right? So Mercury is the natural ruler of the 3rd house. The 3rd house does govern like communications, big time communication and travel house. But this is also the house of your everyday life and the people you would encounter or places you would normally go throughout the normal course of your day. Okay, so it's also like your neighbors, your neighborhood, your siblings, your cousins. This is regular postal mail and email, any kind of communication, phone, text message, email, voicemail, something or other. And it's also short distance travel, like, you know, even just like an overnight trip or a weekend trip, or sometimes short distance or long distance travel in astrology isn't miles, it's actually in hours sometimes, okay? So you could be in for, like, I would have to say a road trip, okay? So maybe something like that. You could also hear from someone, possibly maybe you talk to them or talking about them, just they come up in conversation or something like that at the beginning of the month. And then when Mercury turns retrograde, you might actually hear from them. Okay, this could be an old friend, this could be an old classmate even. Third house is also like grade school and stuff like that. A lot of times you run into, you know, people come back to your area or whatever for the holidays and they visit, and maybe that's like when you see them, you know. So you may like run into somebody, let's say over the holidays, and you all end up getting together with other people, you know, that maybe you haven't seen for a while. But this is, again, like the big communication house. Okay, so having Mercury here does make you really want to reach out and touch someone, you know, in some way or other. But when the planet turns retrograde, you have to be sure that if even if you're like writing a letter or something like that, you have to be sure that you're sending it to the person that can actually do something about it, you know, do whatever your letter is about. Okay. It just like the combination with Mercury and Saturn together, it's almost like you're not able to speak. It's not that you're going to get laryngitis, but you could, a sore throat or something like that. But whatever you're saying could be very serious or sounding very serious, or you could end up in a very serious conversation with someone when you had no intentions on doing something like that. Or you could receive some news at this time uh, that you feel is very serious. Okay, maybe it isn't, maybe it is. But it's just having Saturn here as far as communications go. That means that maybe you might dwell on that part of any kind of communication. You may not even want to hear from certain people, or just stay away from anybody that's negative, that you feel is negative, because you just don't want to have to hear what they have to say. Okay, and this being a travel or transportation even house, okay, having Saturn here sometimes puts up a lot of roadblocks, detours when you're driving, car trouble, or trouble with whatever kind of vehicle you're taking, even if it's a public transportation of some kind, or there still could be problems with that, like with Mercury too being retrograde, and any kind of reservations or travel plans that you have are like either going to be canceled completely or just at least changed in some way. Okay, could possibly happen. But yeah, so just keep in mind that when Mercury turns retrograde, it's in the house of that it governs, and so it's like that's the place where it's going to affect like more than any other sign, let's put it that way, because Mercury is in the third house that it rules, and when it's retrograde, it really kind of screws up. Okay, so maybe even you could have like a conversation with someone that, you know, you didn't even get to say what you really wanted to say. And when you get home, you're like, why didn't I say this? I can't believe this. This was so important and I forgot to mention it, or you didn't have the opportunity to say it, or something or other. But this could be, you know, conversations that maybe you've wanted to have for a very long time. And then all of a sudden the opportunity is there to do that very thing. Okay, so now, Jupiter moving into Pisces, into your fourth house where you have Pisces, and also Neptune transiting. I did do a video on Jupiter and Pisces, and I did take into consideration that Neptune was there at the same time. So you might want to listen to that, but it does bring out, this combination brings out a very spiritual side to everybody, that wherever it's transiting in their chart. This is in your house of your home life, your family, the people you live with, the land surrounding the very home or apartment, any place wherever it is that you live. This is real estate, okay? This is your past and your childhood and your private life. Okay, and like I said, it's mainly like family and whatever. So having Jupiter here, it does open up all kinds of really nice possibilities for expanding your home in some way, or buying some really nice things for it, especially with Mars moving into your second house, okay, of Capricorn, of money, okay, on the 24th. When it leaves your sign, it's going into your second house with all these other planets in Capricorn, right? So it looks like you're going to be, especially with Venus and Mars together, both in Capricorn and your second house, you're going to want to spend some money. And it looks like you're going to buy something for your home, something that you've wanted. Could be a big ticket item, could be like a pretty big deal, or just some kind of improvements or remodeling or enhancements to your home or wherever it is that you live, your living area even. So also, the planet Uranus, which was retrograde, turns direct on the 18th, okay? And I've mentioned before about Uranus being in your 6th house of the kind of work that you do and the workplace, okay? And your co-workers and stuff like that. So that's been kind of flipped out there, right, at work. And it's not just due to like COVID or anything like that. Your co-workers could be like really out there, some of them. Or you could have a boss that you work with that's, I don't know, very strange, very, this planet here, like, usually brings about very unusual occurrences, very sudden changes in the workplace or with people. And they're calling it the Great Resignation, okay, in America right now, with a lot of people quitting their jobs and just looking for something better, realizing that after everything that everyone's gone through the past 2 years, more or less, it's just not worth it. So people are just standing up and like, and I quit, So this is like one of those kind of transits. So I'm pretty sure this has probably happened to you, wherever it is that you work. Even if you don't work at all, there's still something that's always going to be a little bit unusual here. This is the house of service also. I've mentioned this before. It's also the house of small pets and a lot of other things too. So you might have a lot of strays showing up on your doorstep, or you could have, I don't know, you could be fostering kittens or puppies or something or whatever, for your local animal shelter, which would be nice. But as far as this being the house of service to other, that you could possibly do something, let's say like for your neighbors or a friend even, it could be anybody, but a lot of times it's a family member, and because you did this once, they expect you to do it all the time. Okay, so almost like it's your job or something, and all of a sudden you find that your name is listed as their emergency contact, and you don't even know this person half the time very well, right? Could just be a neighbor, who lives down the hall or something like that. So you have to watch out for things like that, okay? But now that this planet is turned direct, it will be like a little bit easier. If there were some things going on, let's say like even in the workplace where you were very unsure of what was going to happen. I mean, and it's not, like I said, due to COVID. This would be like this anyways if there wasn't a pandemic going on right now. So it seems like a little bit maybe up in the air. Okay. Let me see what else here. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Sagittarius on the 1st, 27th, and 28th. And the best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign. And your opposite sign is Gemini, and those days are the 13th, 14th, and 15th. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, any kind of gambling or speculation, and anything to do with children is the 8th, 9th, 10th, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The best time for money is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 15th, 16th, 17th, 29th, and 30th. The best time for your career is the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And the best time for communication and travel is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 31st. So I'd like to thank my subscribers for coming back each time and supporting me. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and clicking on that notification bell where you'll be notified each time I upload something. And check out my weekly forecasts and check out Ask Me a Question in the description box below. It's for people who only want to know a few things about their chart and don't necessarily need to know anything more. But for those of you who would like to have your chart done or other services, there's also a link there to my website. So, Happy New Year to you. I hope you have a very, very good year. It does actually look like it's going to be that way for a lot of people. Probably all of us, I think. Okay. Anyways, I will see you next week. Goodbye.